Hey guys, how's it going? I just wanted to show Cyberpunk on an M1 MacBook Pro with 8 gigabytes of RAM, which actually falls under the 16 gigabyte minimum requirement set out by CD Projekt Red. Now, I just wanted to show that this game is playable with 8 gigabytes of RAM if you set your expectations right. So in this video, I'm going to show you the settings that I would use, which the for this Mac settings are pretty good. So if you just want to launch the game and have settings that are adequate for the system, these will work and they're just fine. But there are some better ones. So this is the game on the 8 gigabyte MacBook Pro. Um, Now, as you can see, it does run basically locked almost at 30. It has a very consistent frame time graph. The only issue is you won't see it maybe here, and I'll have to go to somewhere else that'll show it better. When you go into a very densely populated area and you drive around very fast, there will be streaming issues as there's just not enough RAM for the system, and it will stutter. So you'll drop a few frames. But I'm gonna try to go somewhere where I can show this off. Oh, so that car just disappeared and reappeared, but that's fine. Maybe that's a saving issue and not the MacBook. Alright, so we're here in the city. This isn't the most densely populated area in the world, but this will give you a good demonstration of what the game is like, especially at high speeds whenever you're driving. So you see the frames will drop just as you're driving, which unless you have the frame time graph open, I don't think you're gonna notice. But if that is something you do notice, well, that's just what 8 gigabytes is gonna give you, and there's not much you can do to fix that, at least right now, until there's some mods that come on that reduce render distance and LOD detail. But until then, this experience, I'd say, is pretty good. It's definitely very playable on the default settings. Now I'm going to show you some better settings here in a second here. So these max settings is what automatically applies, and it puts you at 900p, which is fine for rendering resolution, and we're not even rendering at that, as you can see when you actually go in the game. We're rendering at 558p, but I've seen that the MacBook Pro with the M1 chip and 8 gigabytes of video memory can actually go up to around 1080p. Now this means you're going to have to drop the maximum resolution a little bit, so Metal FX is going to be working a little bit harder to bring that resolution up, but it is somewhat playable. Now, you can adjust the settings even further. If you go down here, the low settings aren't actually low settings. You can go down here and still turn more off for more VRAM performance if you want to. So that's what I'm going to do here, and we're going to see if we can get a solid and smooth 30 FPS on this. And it looks like no, we cannot. It looks like frame rates will be hovering around 25 to 29, at least in this traversal streaming test that I'm kind of doing right here. Frame rates dropping as we're streaming in more assets, and then we're going to stop here. For interior gameplay, this type of performance would be fine, but I honestly would put the resolution right around here, 1658p by 1050, and then turn up that maximum resolution a little bit to give DRS some room to breathe. I'll turn it up to 60. It says 27.80, but yeah, no. This is a pretty consistent locked 30 FPS. We're gonna shoot this guy right here. Ooh, yeah. So, and now I'm going to show you frame rate and performance settings to potentially hit somewhat of a 60. It won't really get there, but this is like maxing out the APU as much as it will push out. Um, we're going to turn off VSync, turn off the maximum FPS. We're going to turn off Metal FX as it actually reduces performance by quite a bit. Keep the settings on the absolute lowest, and right here we're going to try to push as much out of this GPU as physically possible. So as you can see when we load in here, it's around 40, 50. Sometimes I've seen it go up to 60, just depending on where you are, but I would not call this a playable experience. The FSR is working way too hard to keep details in check, and it just does not work well at this resolution, and especially with this level of upscaling. And it's not. I wouldn't say it's worth the performance, especially right here where we're going to be CPU bottlenecked as well. The GPU just cannot keep up with the CPU, and likewise to hit a consistent 60. So I think 60 FPS in this game on this hardware is impossible, but I'm sure some tweaks and some mods will come around to make that more viable. Anyways, that's all I had to show you today. This is Cyberpunk on MacBook M1. It is a very playable experience, especially when you set it to the default graphics settings, maybe my more optimized settings if you want a slightly higher frame rate at or slightly lower frame rate at higher fidelity. But I think this is all in all a very playable experience, and I would enjoy, in fact, playing Cyberpunk like this. Anyways, see ya.